I wanted to get into OnePlus and the OnePlus update fiasco. Nah, is it considered a fiasco? I don't think so. A mishap, maybe. Misstep, maybe. I told y'all yesterday they were on top of it, and boy, are they. So today, we got word that the OnePlus update is good to go. Yes, it is good to go. I know there's been a couple of people in the comments from yesterday's video saying, hey, I got the update notification today. Is it okay to update it? And I said, well, I said, hang on, let me do some investigation. Let me see what's going on behind the scenes. I've been working all day and I haven't really been, keeping up with the news. So this afternoon, I took a deep dive into what's going on. And yes, OnePlus has fixed it. So if you don't know what I'm talking about, there was an update for the OnePlus 15 and OnePlus 15R for the 15 series. Now, from what I understand, there were a few devices outside of the OnePlus 15 family that were getting bricked. So I think I saw online today, I was going through some threads. There was a Nord that got bricked. There was, what else? A Nord, I want to say a 13 or a 13R, but the majority of them were the 15 series, either a 15 or 15R. They were bricked. Now, it was the May update that they pushed last week was bricking devices. And, the community, you jump on the forums, hey, this is happening, what's going on? And OnePlus pulled the update. So it was only available for maybe a day or two, and then they pulled it midweek, or excuse me, late last week. I think it was released midweek. They pulled it late last week. And then over the weekend, the lead developer for OnePlus, he's constantly on the OnePlus community application, put out a statement saying, hey, we know this is, jacked up. We know it's messed up. We know what the issue is. They sincerely apologized. And today they put out a press release, or he put out a press release, the lead developer, saying it's fixed. You can update your devices now. So if you got that notification, you are good to go. Here's the problem, though. I still don't know what to do. Let's say you're one of the affected people. Let's say you updated your devices and it got bricked, which sucks big time. I don't know how to fix it. So I think the Flash tool is still available. Look, the best thing for you to do if it got bricked, and I don't think it had, I don't think it affected a whole bunch of people, but look, 1,000, 2,000, it's still a mishap. What I suggest you to do is you can still access the OnePlus community online, meaning on a laptop, on another device. You can access that community. I would, if I were you and I had a brick device, I would DM the main developer and say, because he's very active on there, and say, hey, I'm one of the affected people that has a bricked whatever OnePlus 15. What do I do? Right? Because here's the issue. If it's bricked, meaning if it's stuck in a boot loop, you cannot get into the operating system. Well, what the hell? What do I do? How do I fix this? Because it's not like they can just push an update to your phone and it's fixed. No, it can't get into the operating system. I'm assuming he will send you a zip file, send you the OnePlus Flash tool. It's sort of like what I used when I used to flash custom ROMs all the time on like OnePlus 6 or 6T or OnePlus 8. I'm assuming it's a Flash tool. He'll say you unzip the file, you run the program on your laptop, probably send you a list of instructions to do. It's pretty easy. Like, all you got to do is just, if you can read instructions to bake a cake, right? You can do this. I mean, it's you'll be able to figure it out, right? You just got to go step by step. He'll send you a zip, you unzip it, you run the program, you insert a file that's inside that zip in that program and hit flash, and it'll redo everything. The only thing that sucks is that it'll probably wipe your phone. There's a good chance it'll wipe your phone, but at least you'll have a working phone. So that's my suggestion: is if you are affected, just reach out to the developer, and should have you going here pretty soon. I'm sure they have contingency plans for these types of things, right? Now, good news, it sucks this happened, but good news is, well, for one, they fixed it, but for two, it just proves to everybody that OnePlus is not ending support. OnePlus is not dead. OnePlus, even though they're taking a step back from the global market, it shows that they're still dedicated to their users, to the community, to their consumer. And that's good news, that not only they're in touch with the consumer base, but that they're doing it quick, right? What if this took a month to fix? That would suck, right? And then you're like, then that would be like, oh man, that would not look good on the company. That would put fuel on the fire, as far as they are taking a step back. They are, maybe they fired too many people, and now it's only on one or two developers to fix this whole thing. No, they fixed it literally within a day or two and pushed an update out. So good news for OnePlus, good news for OnePlus users. They're still on board with us, and they're still supporting us and their phones. So I'm happy that this is fixed. I'm happy that we have a resolution. I was going to be under the assumption today, we were going to have to look and scour the internet to see if there's any solutions, if there is a fixed date. When is that going to be? Are they, I'm glad to say it's fixed. You can safely update your phones now. This new update that they're pushing will not brick your device. So 2 thumbs up to OnePlus. Thank you very much. You've made a lot of people, I don't want to say happy, but a sigh of relief, where you can update your phone safely now. So they are watching this on their OnePlus 15. Yes. Well, did you get the update? Let me know if you got it, because it sounds like a lot of people. Happy Monday to you as well. Thank you for watching. Sounds like a lot of people are getting their update. I've been notified by a number of viewers and subscribers that, hey, they got the update now. And I knew that would happen. I knew once the fix was in that they would click the available tab now on their end and have that update available for all users. So very good news. You got the April 2026 update. I think this is the May update. I think, because my OnePlus 15 already has the April update on it, and I think this is the upcoming May update. And mine has not been. Of course, I haven't checked, but I probably will after this. I've just been so busy. I wonder if the recent trip to China is what might save OnePlus, and they have some sort of green light. I don't think it saved OnePlus. But I was thinking about this today, and we have I don't know if I'm going to be able to get it in today to talk about, but we need to have, like, what do they call it? We need to have a group discussion. We need to have, I don't want to do it now. I do want to do it now, but I don't want to do it now, because we got a few other stories to get to, and I can't have this super long live stream. Why don't we do that tomorrow? Unless there's like major news. Well, Google I/O is tomorrow. There will be major news. Let me see if I can sneak this in tomorrow. But we need to have a major talk about where the smartphone industry is going, especially for people in the United States. Does not look good. In fact, it looks very bad. But I'm gonna save that for tomorrow. I don't mean to tease you, but I got a lot of other stuff I wanted to get into. But I think that the China trip from Trump did save some stuff, as far as potentially allowing some of the floodgates to be opened up a little bit, or the dam gates to be opened up a little bit, as far as business wise, doing business between China and the United States. Now, I guess it's good news because I don't anticipate the FCC telling the carriers to not provide service to any IMEIs that are based out of China, that are manufactured in China, meaning we've talked about this before, or what if Trump says, or the administration tells the FCC to cut all service to any IMEI that is a Chinese phone? It's possible, right? And a month ago, it looked very possible. I don't anticipate that becoming an issue now, at least, because look, you're spot on. I was following this Chinese trip very, very closely, just from a technology standpoint, business standpoint, phone standpoint. Where is this going to go? You can see they opened up a ton of deals. Uh, Boeing is going to sell, they allowed Boeing to sell 200 jet airliners to China. They allowed a lot of stuff, AI uh, components, to be sold to China, because remember, they essentially cut all business off. Nvidia, right? Nvidia is going to sell GPUs now to China. So there's a lot of things that went into this trip that I was specifically looking for, that I think will help us in the long run as far as the end user. Now, for OnePlus, I don't think it'll help, because OnePlus is kind of separate from, even though they're tied directly to the topic we're talking about. OnePlus's issue with taking a step back from the global market has more to do with the market itself than it does from any administrative duties, or laws being passed, or restrictions, or tariffs. OnePlus issue has more to do with the decline in market share, meaning the revenue coming in just cannot support the all the other stuff they have going on. Their overhead, paying employees, paying for certifications, manufacturing, the R&D into new products. I just don't think their revenue was able to support the business. And I think that's why Oppo chose to scale it back, because they were just losing money, right? It was just losing money every month. And apparently that's been going on for years, and they just, at some point, you got to pull the plug, right? It's just, I think it has more to do with that than it has to do with the China trip. But I mean, OnePlus will still be here. They're just going to sell their flagship phones in China, and then everything budget is going to go to India. So, good point, though, and I appreciate you for bringing up that topic. I was keeping a very close eye on that. I just want more competition, so there's more innovation between brands. I tell you what, join us. Don't miss I'll try to schedule it when this is done. Join us. We're going to have that discussion tomorrow, and I think that deserves its entire episode, or an entire live stream, and I desperately need your input as well on this topic, because I'm going to bring a couple of things to the table as far as information and prospects, and looking into the future a little bit. I like to do that every now and then, see where this smartphone world is headed. Does not look good, but we'll get into that tomorrow. Don't miss tomorrow's show. Although I think I'm going to do 2 shows tomorrow, because Google I/O's tomorrow. They're going to announce a ton of shit tomorrow, a ton, hardware, software, new projects they've been working on. So I know maybe we'll combine it into one. Maybe we'll do 2. We'll do this phone topic, and then Google I/O. We'll figure it out. But join me tomorrow. We'll discuss that tomorrow for sure. Cool using the US version of it, and maybe I'll get the global for a trip. Are you talking about the OnePlus device? The US version should work globally, right? It's not just for US. Like if you buy a OnePlus 15 here, it's the US version. It's unlocked. You can take it to India and it'll work with an India SIM card. You can take it to Australia, it'll work with an Australian SIM card. You can take it to Italy, it'll work with an Italian SIM card. So it'll be unlocked for anywhere. The US version is the global unlocked version. It just has a few extra 5G bands added in there on top of all the other ones, so it'll work optimally, yeah, optimally with with USA carriers, right? So it'll work. You're not going to have to buy a separate phone for that. It will still work for sure. It'll still work for sure. Yeah. Yep. Yeah, I will. That's a nice it's a nice aspect. They just say US version because they did add some modifications to the modem. They opened it up a little bit more for carrier aggregation, for that CPU and the modem it has in there is, I think, the most advanced modem in the world out of any mobile device, meaning the modem handles the carrier, right? Carrier signals, the 5Gs. And honestly, the United States has one of the more advanced networks when it comes to carrier networks in the world. Now, every now and then you'll see China's working on 6G, and we are too, right? But for our market specifically in the United States, it has frequencies, it has bands that other parts of the world do not have. So they just say, look, US variant, because it has those extra added bands in there, if that makes sense, right? You can buy, like with that Motorola Signature, I bought the global version. But it was sold in India, but it was a global version. I brought it here, or I purchased it, had it shipped here, worked fine. And it would be the opposite on your end, right? Somebody in India could buy your OnePlus 15, a US model, have it shipped to India. They put their India SIM card in there, and it would work totally fine. So, you know, fun fact, US model OnePlus 15 with the charger in the box, which is meant to do just 80 watts, can actually do 120 watts charging speed if it's plugged into a European outlet. And I didn't know that at first. Yeah, that is interesting. And that whole thing too, with, mine, the whole 80 watts versus 120 watts, or if you do buy global variants, it's like, oh, I want to get the 120 watt charger. Charging is pretty freaking similar. I know there's what, 40 watts in between 80 and 120, but realistically, both will go 0 to 100. I mean, the 120 watt will probably beat it, a couple minutes. Still charges it super fast. And you can also go buy a 120 watt OnePlus charger online if you want. Just be careful because there's a lot of fakes out there. A lot of fakes. So you technically do 120 for the US model. European outlet has double the volts. Interesting. I did not know that. OnePlus 15 is $100 off. Pretty decent deal. Did they go back down to $100 off? Yeah, I know they're probably. And look, when I say leave the global market, what they're doing, because some people will ask, well, when are they leaving? When are they leaving the global market? Well, it's whenever they sell all their phones, right? Like, they still have a warehouse full of OnePlus 15s and 15Rs. They're not just gonna stop and close shop, and what's going to happen with all those phones? They still need to generate revenue. So yeah, they're still. And look, I think when I did the other video, what was it, the other day, when I said nothing is replacing OnePlus at Best Buy, I think maybe I didn't clarify it good enough, but people thought people thought that Best Buy was going to stop selling OnePlus phones. That is not the case. They're still selling them. They're just taking their in-store model, the display models in store. They're taking those OnePlus 15s out of their physical retail stores and putting in the nothing phones in their place. But you can still buy it online on Best Buy's website. You can still buy it online on OnePlus's website. And they're going to try and sell as many as they can to get rid of the stock and of their inventory. And it's probably why you see them with the $100 off. They try to sell units, right? They're trying to make some money. They're trying to get them out there. That's a fantastic deal. Again, for the price, it's the best phone in America. It for Americans that you can officially buy, because I know there's, oh no, that's not true. Well, what about the Oppo Find X9 Ultra? I'm not talking about that. Yes, you can buy one, but you got to go through third-party retailers, eBay, GizTop. I'm talking about devices you can buy from the manufacturer, like a Samsung, buying at the Samsung website, Apple website, right? Google website, OnePlus US website. Spec-wise and enjoyment-wise, it's better than anything that Americans have the opportunity of purchasing, especially for the money, right? If you get, what do they start out at? The 12 gig 256 starts at $899, or was that the initial price? I think it was $899. No, let's actually, you know what? Let's go find out. What the hell happened? My screen went out. Damn it. That is weird. There we go. One of my screens went out. Yeah, that's a deal right there. Save $100 on the OnePlus 15, 256 gig with code extra 100. That is a steal. $850 gets you the best spec phone in the United States, even at the 12 gig 256. Remember, they have RAM expansion in there. You can expand that RAM up to 12 gigs. So you can essentially have 24 gigs of RAM and 256 gigs of storage. Well, it takes 12 of those 256 and puts it over in the RAM department, but you get the point. That's a good deal. I would take advantage of it if you're in the market for a new phone. They clearly still support their devices. Legally, they have to update the software for the length of whatever they are quoted at. And forgive me, I think it's 5 years software updates, 6 years of security patches, whatever it is. They're going to do it, right? And Google will hold them to it, and legally they are bound to support their devices. So pretty good deal. Now let's see. Can you get the 16 gig for $50 off the 16 gig of RAM for the Sandstone, and then $100 off? Yeah, they are trying to get rid of that stock, that inventory, aren't they? Well, good for them. That's a deal. If you're in the market, you can also trade in your device as well. Yeah, as you see here, you can lower that $850 down to, I don't know, $300 depending on what phone you have. So thank you for informing us. That is very interesting. At Best Buy, no, it's a good deal. It's a good opportunity to get a fantastic device at a lower price. When I pre-ordered the OnePlus 15 in December, it was $100 off due to some early discounts, even with a free case and charger. I think I remember that. Yeah, I do. Final price with tax was $953. Wow. And that's free case, obviously charger in the box. Didn't they also come with buds, right? Like free buds, or a watch. Remember that? And look, I paid $1,500 for my S26 Ultra, and I'm not even impressed. It's like the same phone as last year. OnePlus 15 is pretty impressive. It'll essentially do anything, right? Pretty freaking impressive. Samsung discounted the S26 Ultra $50 more off, with a total of $250 off. I don't think the S26 line is selling well. Well, there are reports that it's tricky. There are reports saying that when I saw that report, I saw a few reports. So you'll see a couple of things in the headline saying that the S26 Ultra or the S26 series, most of the sales are to the Ultra, but the S26 series has outsold the previous year's S25 series and all others behind it. Now, from what I understand, that those sales are falling off pretty quick. So, what that means, I don't know, but it sold well at first, and then I'm assuming the sales dropped off a cliff. Now, that can be due to a number of things. Um, I haven't really uh, analyzed the market or looked, peeled behind the curtains to see why they dropped off. Maybe people realized it's really not that much of an upgrade. I think Samsung got lucky with an upgrade cycle because every couple of years, I think the average lifeline for the average American, it's like 3.4, 3.8 years, meaning the average American will hold on to their smartphone for 3.4 or almost, 4 years before they upgrade. And I think they just got lucky getting caught in an upgrade cycle where just a large majority of their users was due for an upgrade, essentially. And I think that's why. So maybe we'll look into that as well at another time. At Best Buy, the 512 gig models $849 with activation on Verizon or AT&T. Yeah, that's interesting. Um, So it's $100 cheaper. No, what is that? For the 512 gig, what am I at? It's $100 cheaper. Oh, I see, because obviously the Verizon or AT&T activation. Huh. I've never used mine on anything other than T-Mobile. But do you remember the days when it didn't even used to work on Verizon? It's kind of like where nothing is at right now. It's like the only thing that, well, I'm saying the only thing, but the seems like the only carrier that really works well with nothing phones is T-Mobile or a T-Mobile MVNO. In Verizon doesn't really play nicely. OnePlus used to be in that same position, right? Just years ago, 3 to 4 years ago, I don't even think Verizon would work on OnePlus. Didn't they used to sell a OnePlus though? I think that's what cracked the egg. I think that's what opened them up to um, usability on the carrier. Hey, what's up, Brian? Okay, no problem. It's a fuzzy display, the S26 Ultra. How did I know you were talking about that one? Happy Victoria Day to all Canadian viewers. Hope your day was not only great, but you had got to see the fireworks show as well. Was it the OnePlus 9? I think so. What is Victoria Day? Is that like the Canadian version of the 4th of July? I'm assuming. Independence Day. Huh. Never heard of that. Well, happy Victoria's Day to you, Brian, and all the Canadian viewers out there as well. Now, check this out. Speaking of Samsung, let me jump into this. Speaking of Samsung, let's see if I can get my mouse right. So we hit the OnePlus news. I'm going to link all these stories down below once we're done, right? I didn't have time to link them before the stream, but I promise I'll do it after. So once we're done, come back. If you want to look into these stories a little further, come back and I'll have them linked.